Hello, good morning everyone. Thank you for the time and opportunity to see our video. First of all, we would like to say thank you to our lecturer Mr. Mildan and all our friends to see this video. In this time, we will present the material under the title Learning Methodology and Active in Communicative Curriculum. In the group 9, there are 6 members. The first is Agustina Bululaga. The second is Ati Aulia. The third is Aulia Gusriniwati. The fourth is Eliawati Nurmaila. The fifth is Cecilia Angelica. And the last, the sixth, Kurnia Mulyawati. Okay, now in this slide is about learning objective. Before we start our explanatory material, we must know what a learning objective of this chapter. There are three learning objectives in this chapter. They are, the first one is define the kinds of methodologies which are applied in learning process suitably. The second is describe which a method can be realized in some technique and activity. And the third is use learning methodology and design learning activities. So we can start our explanatory material in this slide. The first explain is about learning methodology. The term methodology has been to equalize historically with a method, as Richard 1987 say, the goal of many language teaching is to find the right method, improvement in the quality of method. What it means? It means that a professional teacher or a teacher must be able to improve, to achieve, and maintain teaching quality in a language program. Therefore, a teacher must not only be able to choose which approach and method are suitable of learners, but also apply which proper technique should be applied for a classroom. In the other words, we wish to improve the method, the techniques, and the contents of language teaching based on the principle of learning. So, in the next slide, we'll be explain about the principle of learning. Let's listen to the next slide.
Okay, I would like to explain about an approach. An approach is a set correlative assumptions dealing with the nature of language, teaching, and learning. Approach is a way of looking at teaching and learning. Jadi pendekatan di sini adalah bagaimana guru mendekati atau bagaimana guru memandang suatu proses belajar pembelajaran ya. Jadi bagaimana sudut pandang seorang guru terhadap proses belajar dan pembelajaran. Jadi ada beberapa pendekatan, contohnya ada teacher center atau berpusat terhadap guru. Jadi di sini guru melihat pembelajaran sebagai kegiatan guru. Jadi guru yang menjelaskan, guru yang memberikan ilmu kepada murid, guru yang lebih banyak beraktivitas di dalam kelas. Ada juga student center atau ini berpusat kepada murid. Jadi di sini guru hanya sebagai fasilitator dan muridnya ini menggali informasi secara sendiri. Ada juga individu. Jadi di sini guru memandang masing-masing siswa, memperhatikan masing-masing siswa. Ada juga pendekatan kelompok ya. Jadi mereka itu guru menganggap murid itu sama. Now for the example, The communicative approach is the best known current approach to language teaching. Jadi salah satu contoh pendekatan ini ada pendekatan komunikatif ya. Salah satu pendekatan yang sedang terkenal sekarang karena relate dengan kurikulum terbaru yaitu kurikulum Merdeka, di mana siswa lebih aktif berperan aktif dalam proses belajar pembelajaran. Ketika guru memilih untuk menggunakan pendekatan komunikatif, maka bisa menggunakan metode komunikatif language teaching.
2. Method is the practical realization of an approach. Methods include various procedures and techniques as part of their standard fare. Within one approach, there can many methods. Audiolingual method. For example, if we pick out the audiolingual method, we can apply for student team achievement division as a model learning in a classroom. A learner has to know automatically what a learning theory is adopted by observing the available method and technique used in that sample.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Lewati Nur Maila dari kelompok 3. Saya akan membacakan materi slide 9 dan juga 10. Materi yang pertama adalah a technique. A technique is implementational that which takes place in a classroom and immediate objective. The techniques must be consistent with a method and therefore in harmony with an approach as well. Jadi di sini teknik pembelajaran di dalam kelas harus konsisten dengan satu metode dan harus sejalan atau linear dengan pendekatan yang dipakai di dalam kelas. Dalam proses pembelajaran yang harus selaras antara metode pembelajaran dan juga pendekatan akan membuat siswa tidak kebingungan dan juga akan lebih menggugah rasa ingin tahu dan juga minat belajar siswa. Di slide selanjutnya akan diberikan contoh dari teknik tersebut. Slide selanjutnya contoh. Yang pertama ada collaborative learning. This technique involves cooperation among students to achieve learning goals. For example, group projects, group discussions, or team-based simulation allow students to learn from each other and develop social skills such as cooperation and communication. Pembelajaran kolaboratif ini seperti dalam teknik ini melibatkan kerjasama antar siswa untuk mencapai hasil maksimal dalam pembelajaran. Misalnya ketika guru memberikan tugas berupa proyek, antar siswa harus saling bekerja sama untuk menyelesaikan proyek tersebut dan mencapai nilai maksimal. Selanjutnya misalkan kelompok diskusi. Para siswa harus bekerja sama untuk mendapatkan hasil yang bagus. Dan juga dalam metode ini dapat mengembangkan kemampuan bersosialisasi anak seperti bekerja sama dan mampu berkomunikasi dengan baik. Terima kasih. Sekian dari saya. Mohon maaf bila ada kekurangan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baik, saya akan menjelaskan tentang 3 faktor yang mempengaruhi course design. Di sini ada silabus, needs analysis, dan metodologi. Jadi yang pertama silabus. Silabus membantu memberikan arah dan struktur yang jelas kepada instruktur dan peserta didik tentang apa yang akan dipelajari dan bagaimana cara mereka akan menilai kemajuan mereka. Nah, dalam desain kursus ini, silabus menjadi dasar untuk merancang pengalaman belajar yang kohesif dan terarah. Yang berikut ada needs analysis. Analisis kebutuhan membantu memastikan bahwa desain kursus sesuai dengan kebutuhan dan karakteristik peserta didik, sehingga meningkatkan efektivitas pembelajaran. Dan juga hasil dari analisis kebutuhan dapat digunakan untuk menyesuaikan konten, pendekatan pengajaran, dan strategi evaluasi dalam desain kursus. Dan yang terakhir ada metodologi. Dalam desain kursus, pemilihan metodologi harus sesuai dengan tujuan pembelajaran, memungkinkan interaksi dan keterlibatan peserta didik, serta mempromosikan pemahaman yang mendalam dan penerapan konsep. The following is a learning-centered language learning methodology according to Hutchison and Water. The first, second language learning is a developmental process. Learners can make new information comprehensible by using their existing knowledge. The learner's existing state of knowledge is a vital element in the success or failure of learning, so the good teacher will be able to establish and exploit what the learners have already know about. Second, language learning is an active process. It is not enough for learners just to have the necessary knowledge to make things meaningful. They must also use that knowledge. However, this term means active. There are two types of activity. The first, psychomotor activity. It's about the observable movement of speech organs or limbs by following the signal from the brain. And last, language processing activity. That is the organization of information into a meaningful network of knowledge. Third, language learning is a decision-making process. Most of the teachers made all the decisions in the traditional classroom in order to avoid all possibilities of error. The teachers can make decisions without taking risks, and taking risks makes possible errors even likely. Fourth, language learning is not just a matter of linguistic knowledge. The most fundamental problem of second language learning is the mismatch between the learner's conceptual or cognitive capacities and the learner's linguistic level. They develop together in mother tongue learning. However, they are closely out of focus in the second language. The fifth, language learning is not learners' first experience with language. Every second language learning has already had communicatively competent in one language. They do not know the specific forms, words, or possibly some concepts of the target language, but they know what communication is and how it is used. 6. Learning is an emotional experience. Teacher concerned should be to develop the positive emotion as opposite to the negative ones. For instance, by using group works to build on existing social relationships, giving students time to think and avoiding undue pressure, putting less emphasis on the product and more on the process of getting an answer. 7th, language learning is to a large extent incidental. The problem to be solved in a problem-solving approach do not have to be language problems. The important point is that the problems should oblige the learners to use language and to fix the language into the matrix of knowledge in their minds. 8. Language learning is not systematic. We learn by systematizing knowledge, but the process itself is not systematic. Laying out information in a systematic way will not guarantee to learn. The learner must create an internal system, yet an external system may help, but that is all it can do.
Learning activities or workouts. Workouts are language learning and language using activities which enhance the learner overall acquisition process by engaged and rewarding. Whether students read a journal article, a textbook capture, your lecture, write a paper, or an essay. Participate in discussion, take a race, give a presentation, conduct a survey, do an observation, run an experiment, and so on. These are all
Jadi, kegiatan belajar atau latihan adalah pembelajaran bahasa dan aktivitas penggunaan bahasa untuk meningkatkan proses pemerolehan pembelajaran secara keseluruhan. Nah, di antaranya itu membaca artikel, bab buku, kuliah, menulis makalah, esai, participation dalam diskusi, mengikuti teks dan memberikan presentasi dan sebagainya semua merupakan kegiatan pembelajaran. Sample of such workouts are presented here under 10 different categories. Number 1, operation on transformations. Number 2, work up or relax. Number 3, information central tasks. Number 4, treatment games. Number 5, mediation on interventions. Number 6, group dynamic activities. Number 7, experimental tasks. 8, problem solving tasks. 9, transferring or contouring. Number 10, skill getting strategies. Conclusion: a communicative curriculum emphasizes interactive and real-life communication skill. Activities often include group discussion, role plays, games, and authentic tasks like interview or presentation. Learners engage in meaningful communication to practice language in context, fostering fluency and confidence. Teachers facilitate interaction, provide feedback, and create opportunities for learners to apply language skill in various situations. So, kurikulum komunikatif ini menekankan pada keterampilan komunikasi interaktif dalam kehidupan nyata. Kegiatan ini sering mencakup diskusi kelompok, permainan peran, tugas otentik seperti wawancara dan presentasi, yang pembelajarannya melibatkan komunikasi dan bermakna melatih bahasa yang kompleks. Nah, guru di sini menjadi fasilitator interaktif, memberikan feedback atau umpan balik, menciptakan kesempatan bagi peserta untuk menerapkan keterampilan bahasa dalam berbagai situasi.